Well, Leading India reports tonight with a terrible incident in Aurangabad. A 2-year-old girl was killed on the spot after an SUV smashed into her as she crossed a road with her family. Behind the wheel of the killer automobile was the juvenile son of a powerful NCP MLA who was driving without a license.
Moments before we began this broadcast, the boy was released on bail. A little girl met a violent end because a spoiled teenager was allowed to illegally commandeer a vehicle. The horror was fully captured by CCTV cameras. Here's the full story.
This horrifying video was captured on 16th of April on the CCTV at Aurangabad's Hadko TV Square. Two-year-old Navya and 3-year-old Saili were crossing the street, their hands held tight with their uncles. And then an SUV enters the picture. It halts in the middle of the square, moves again, unsure of which direction to take. And then it hits the family on the street. The two children and their uncle hit the bumper. The SUV runs over the tree, killing the 2-year-old. But the minor behind the wheels doesn't stop after mowing down the child. The car immediately tries to race away and then goes on to hit another two-wheeler before coming to a halt.
और ठाकुर के पेपर पास गए और खड़े रहे बाद में सामने गए तो रोड क्रॉस कर रहा था हमने और वो जो गाड़ी उधर से आ रही थी गाड़ी और वो ऐसे टर्न हो गई तो गाड़ी का दिखी तो स्लो थी बाद में पास आ गया तो इतनी पास आ गई कि हमारे को जरा हिलम भी ध्यान हो तो इनका एक चांस नहीं मैं दोनों और एक लड़की है साइड में एक लड़की वो साइड में थी.
Right after the accident, an irate mob surrounded the SUV and attacked it with sticks. It was after a huge crowd gathered that cops arrested the 17-year-old and the driver sitting next to him. It is not difficult to see why the teenager had the courage to try to run away. After all, he is the son of Abdul Qadir Maulana, a prominent local leader of Sharad Pawar's party. The victim of the NCP lawyer's son were 2-year-old Navya, who died on the spot, her 3-year-old sister Saili, and their 35-year-old uncle Shirish Sonwani, both of whom were injured seriously.
CCTV center under the police station Sidco, in which one person who was driving the vehicle, who was later come to known as a Bilal Maulana, doesn't possess the driving license. So offense against 2 persons has been registered, both have been arrested.
So will little Navya's killer get away with the minimum punishment?
Seems the NCP leader's son will get away very, very lightly. He's been charged under section 304A, that's for causing death by negligence. The maximum punishment under 304A is 2 years in jail and a fine or both.
If you are booked under 304A, the maximum sentence is 2 years, and very often courts just bring it down to 6 months or sometimes even a fine. As the law stands today, if you're 17 years and 364 days and you commit a grievous crime, the most grievous crime, possibly you shoot the Prime Minister, even then you would be tried under the Juvenile Justice Act.
So that means a maximum of 2 years in a detention home jail for the 17-year-old, despite killing a 2-year-old child. And since it is a bailable offence, the teenager and the driver have already been released. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
In fact, joining us now in the studio is senior lawyer from the Supreme Court, Mr. Gaur. I want to ask you first about whether the police could have taken any harsher action against this boy who's now walked out on bail already, and also if he were to face action in the future, it would only be something as harsh as perhaps a detention for a few months.
See, I want to quote Mahatma Gandhi for that matter. If any saint has its past, every criminal has its future. So somebody who has committed this delinquency at this stage must be punished. The law is very feeble in this regard. I don't see any action being taken against this delinquent.
Mr. God, 304A is a kind of law where the maximum punishment is 2 years in jail or a fine or both.
Yeah.
And this person who's committed this crime is a juvenile to begin with. Does that mean that the possibility of him actually spending any time in jail at whatsoever, I mean, in a juvenile home itself is in question? He might just have to pay a fine and get away with it?
That is true. That is true.
And there's nothing else that anybody can do about it at this stage, because there are several points that were illegal. He didn't have a license, he's 17 years old, he can't drive. There's no question of it happening. What about the father's culpability? Does that apply anywhere at this
stage?
Yes,
that's an important question. That is an important question. You know,
and he's an NCP MLA. So, what's the culpability of
whoever
the parents
he
or the
is?
father?
See the disparity. A kid is killed and nobody takes action against the killer. And somebody who owns the SUV hands over the SUV to his kid and give a license to kill. So that person who has killed and who has given the killer license, the parents of this team must be taken into them.
Is there a legal?
Yes, there is a legal proposition. Yes, for sure, for sure. They are actually conniving. In fact, see, if you look at it, who has handed over this SUV to this kid? And somebody has given that SUV, he has to be liable. You know, he has to be held liable for this offense. If some crime is committed by somebody's revolver and he has not taken care of his revolver, that person is punished in law. You can, you know, look at the similarity. Somebody has SUV, he gives his SUV to his kid to drive, and he is enjoying.
Mr. Gaur, I want to ask you a final question, because this is something about how juveniles are allowed to get away easy, something that had been highlighted after December 16 gang rape in Delhi, where the juvenile is likely to get away with nothing more than a few months in a detention center. And we see a similar case where also here we have a juvenile offender. Here he is killed a little girl, but because of rash and negligent driving.
Right.
Should the act in itself be given a complete relook by the government?
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. Somebody who commits this kind of offense must be punished, and there has to be some deterrent punishment, because the parents would enlighten about such lessons, and if deterrent action has not been taken against such delinquents, the crime would go on. More particularly when 1.1% of the crime are attributed to such juvenile criminals.
Yeah.
So the figures are shocking. It used to be 393 in 1991. The figures reached to 778 in 2010. So the figures are different.
I think the big takeaways. I think the big takeaways of what we've got here on India Reports tonight is that it's possible that this boy will not spend any time even in a detention center, will probably just pay a fine and get away. He's already out on bail even now. B, the law needs a complete overhaul. And C, there's a possibility within the law of action being taken against the parents because of what happened. Because remember, at the end of the day, a 2-year-old girl is dead.
Absolutely, Mr. R.K. Gaur, thank you very much for joining us here in the studio for India Report. Of course, we'll try and get more reactions on that in the days to come as well. But moving on to the bulletin now, if you've become accustomed to savagery by Bengal's law enforcement agencies, here's something that takes things a little further. A CPM Students' Wing General Secretary was found chained to his hospital bed by the police.
Santosh Sahni is his name. He was among 51 people arrested by the police, remember, last week, following a clash with Trinamool workers in Siliguri. If Bengal had any further capacity to shock, it's all there in the images you're about to see in this report.
"19-year-old Santosh Sahni lies injured with his left leg chained to a hospital bed in Siliguri. He has injury marks on his body and is a key witness in the death of SFI leader Sudipta Gupta. Santosh was picked up when he was part of a protest in Siliguri. He then fell sick while in judicial custody. An extra zealous police then went ahead and chained him to the hospital bed. Just days after the attack on Presidency College, this seems to be another attempt on part of Mamata Banerjee to muzzle and intimidate. There is massive outrage over the incident across the political spectrum. But it seems that the TMC is in no mood to change its stripes. Bengal's otherwise combative Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is silent, and the TMC too is passing the buck.
সাথে সাথে পুলিশের সমস্ত স্তরের কর্মকর্তাদের সাথে আমি কথা বলি এবং তাদের অনুরোধ করি যে ইমিডিয়েটলি আপনারা পুলিশ পোস্টিং করুন, কিন্তু তার পায়ের থেকে যে বেড়িটা দেখা যাচ্ছে ছবিতে আসছে সেটা আপনারা ইমিডিয়েট খুলে দিন।
With Mamata firmly looking away, the police is justifying its illegal actions. The superintendent of Siliguri Special Jail has said that Santosh was chained to a hospital bed as there were not enough police personnel to guard prisoners in the general ward of the hospital. The opposition, however, is gunning for Mamata Banerjee, blaming her government for gross human rights violations. The opposition further claims that the SFI activist is being harassed as he was a witness to the brutal beating of fellow student leader Sudipta Gupta.
It's not just a violation of human rights. It's an attack on the basic citizens' right to protest against this government. He should not have been arrested in the first place.
ये तो एक राजनीतिक कार्यकर्ता है, उनका इलाज है, तो उन्हें हथकड़ी नहीं लगाई जानी चाहिए, क्योंकि हैंडकप्स के बारे में सुप्रीम कोर्ट का एक फैसला आ चुका है कि ये मानवाधिकार के या उस तरह से इनह्यूमन है। तो मैं समझता हूं कि वो कहीं न कहीं एसएफआई के जो कार्यकर्ता को हैंडकप्स किया गया है, हथकड़ी लगा के ले जाया जा रहा, वो एक तरह से सुप्रीम कोर्ट के उन निर्णयों के खिलाफ है।
The outrage is understandable as Santosh is a key witness in the attack on SFI leader Sudipta Gupta. He was arrested with 50 others on the 10th of April.
Chaining of Santosh Sahani is only the latest in the long list of incidents that goes to confirm that the state police in West Bengal has virtually been reduced to the level of a private army for Mamata Banerjee. With Manogya Loiwal and camera person Sham, Indrajit for Headlines Today in Kolkata.
The UPA government is a step closer in its courtship of Nitish Kumar and his party, the JDU.
Headlines Today has exclusive advance information that the Union Cabinet is all set to approve a 12,000 crore rupee package for Bihar tomorrow. Though the amount is less than the 20,000 crore sought by Nitish Kumar, it is a windfall for his government nevertheless.
Something that will be a political feather in the cap for Nitish Kumar. For the UPA, it's not just about contributing to the development of the state. The financial aid also brings Nitish, remember, close to the Congress. Think of it as a premium for insurance that JDU will be forced to repay just in case the Samajwadi Party or the BSP withdraw support to the United Progressive Alliance.
It may also open doors for a possible post-poll alliance in 2014 or a pre-poll alliance. The aid may also toughen the JDU stance against Narendra Modi as the NDA's prime ministerial candidate. Interestingly, Bihar is not the only possible ally looking for financial aid. Bengal and Odisha have also been frequent visitors to Yojana Bhavan in Delhi.
Mamata and Naveen Patnaik and both their parties, which could be future allies for the Congress, are also being actively wooed behind the scenes. Headlines Today's political editor Javed Ansari, who in fact accessed those details of what is likely to happen tomorrow. Remember, you heard it first right here on Headlines Today. Joins us for more on it. Javed, now that the government is on the brink of giving that largesse to Bihar, won't other people also jump onto the bandwagon? Bengal and Odisha in particular. How is the UPA going to stave off these two?
Well, the UPA will explain. You know, there is some assistance for Odisha as well, but Nitish Kumar asked for 20,000 crores. He's getting 60% of that, which is 12,000 crores. Earlier, and this is, we are told, a time of frugality where the centre doesn't have too much of money to spend. Yet they've loosened the purse strings. Obviously, there are no free lunches in politics, and the expectation is that if push comes to shove, and if either Mulayam Singh or Mayawati decide to pull the plug, then they will come to the aid of the UPA government. The JDU will come to the aid of the UPA government. Orissa and West Bengal and the others will continue to clamour for more. They are being given something, but nothing amounting to about 60% of what they'd asked for, as is the case with Bihar.
Javed, the UPA may be fishing in troubled waters as far as the JDU-BJP relationship is concerned, but it's clearly advantaged Nitish Kumar at this moment in time, because as this entire fracas with the BJP plays out, he will be labelled with having, earned this windfall for Bihar.
Well, most certainly, and like I said, there are no free lunches, and this is the time of coalition politics. Nitish Kumar knows, and all the regional parties know, that this is the best time to leverage their numbers, and that's precisely what they've been doing. This is not the first time that he's asked for it. He's been clamoring for this for several years, but it's significant that the UPA has now decided to loosen their purse strings for him.
Let's quickly get you the 8 latest developments in the terror attack case in the last 1 hour.
Sources have told headlines today that the modus operandi in today's attack is very similar, almost identical to the February terror strike in Hyderabad. A motorcycle is believed to have been used as a carrier, just like in Hyderabad.
Police confirmed that grade 2 explosives were used and that these were planted on a motorcycle which had a Tamil Nadu license plate. It is now known that Bangalore received a terror alert just days after the Hyderabad twin blast. The forensic team visited the site of the Bangalore blast earlier this evening to collect evidence, and while the police looks for the triggering device, it has found no SIM card or detonators just yet.
And joining us live now from Bangalore is our colleague Pratibha Raman. She was the first with her crew on the spot of the blast site when it happened at 10:30 this morning, reporting just meters now from Bangalore where that bomb exploded this morning. Pratibha is going to take you through the latest in this terror attack. Pratibha.
Thank you, Shiv and Padmaja. Well, it is terror that has returned to Bangalore, especially after 3 years. It is the anniversary of the blast that took place at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, and at that time, the name of Indian Mujahideen did really crop up, and even now it does crop up. Police suspect that this has resemblance, it bears resemblance to the way the Hyderabad blasts were carried out 2 months ago, and the Home Minister of the state has confirmed that this is a terror attack. In fact, when the blast happened this morning, I and my team were the first to arrive here, and here is the report.
Destruction, devastation. Terror has returned to Bangalore. A powerful blast ripping through the Malleshwaram area in the city, injuring more than a dozen people, some critically.
At 10:30 this morning, a blast took place with 3 vehicles that you can see right there, which is a Kinetic Honda, a Maruti van, as well as a Santro car that took off at 10:30 this morning.
On the way, we were coming. Suddenly there was a blast. We just fell on the road. Opposite to us, there was a vehicle with fire. That's all I just noticed. I fainted and fell there. I was shouting.
Let's have a clear top-down look at precisely where this attack took place. Remember, this is just a small segment of Malleshwaram, which is a large, mostly densely populated residential part of Bangalore. The BJP headquarters is right there. Towards this side is a large bridge where there's a huge thoroughfare of traffic. The blast site was right here, where there was a clear space next to a few houses, which was mostly used apparently for parking. There's a Ganpati temple just about 400 meters away from the blast site.
Target is 100%. I think the target is BJP workers only, because this is the BJP office in front of the BJP office. Is happening here.
As NIA, NSG and ATS teams rushed to the spot, it became clear that the attack was a high-intensity blast triggered by IEDs parked upon a motorbike.
Few kilometers away from the BJP office, and the temple is also on the other side. Due to the blast, there are 16 persons injured. The injuries are not so serious and nobody is critically injured.
The Union Home Ministry confirming it to be an act of terror.
Your incidents, I came to know that certainly start inquiry now. I will have interaction with the government of Karnataka and also the police department, and I will inquire into it.
The needle of suspicion now points towards the dreaded Indian Mujahideen. with the attack coming less than 2 months after the serial blast at Hyderabad. And while it may just be a coincidence, Wednesday's attacks are on the 3-year anniversary of the Chinnaswamy Stadium blast, believed to be a handiwork of the Indian Mujahideen.
The modus operandi of the attackers, such as choosing a two-wheeler to plant a bomb, to choose a crowded place near a temple, and also choosing a day which is the anniversary of Chinnaswamy Stadium blast, all point fingers towards Indian Mujahideen. But will the investigators pinpoint the perpetrators, or like in the past too, this case be forgotten with the passage of time? With Pratibha in Bangalore and camera person Rajiv Srivastav, this is Kamaljeet Sandhu in Delhi for Headlines Today.
Just minutes after the blast, in fact, the political blame game began to unfold because the Home Minister earlier did mention, Mr. R. Ashok mentioned, that the BJP leaders were the target behind this. He did mention that it was basically an effort to sabotage the efforts of the BJP leaders. And the Congress national spokesperson, in the meantime, did mention the fact that the BJP will stand to gain because of this. He also did mention that it was basically stage managed by the BJP. Now, it all goes to show that when Karnataka is in election mode, the politicians cannot really rise above politics, can they? Not even on a day like this.
Devastation and misery outside the BJP headquarters in Karnataka in the immediate aftermath of the terror attack. But even before the embers could cool, the Congress spokesperson virtually strengthened the hand of the terrorists by accusing the BJP of staging this attack to seek benefits in the upcoming polls.
मैंने कोई बीजेपी पर आरोप नहीं लगाया, मैंने एक जो फैक्चुअल बात है कि आप हमारे मित्र हैं, अगर आपके घर के पास, आपके घर के नजदीक ब्लास्ट होता है तो स्वाभाविक बात है आपसे थोड़ी सिंपैथी होगी लोगों को, इसलिए मैं राजनीति में हूं, 28 सालों से मैं एक्टिव राजनीति में हूं, इसलिए मैं कोई ऐसी गैर जिम्मेदाराना बात नहीं करूंगा.
The remark immediately drew BJP's ire.
कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष से पूछना चाहते कि क्या उनके प्रवक्ता इसके लिए ऑथराइज हैं कि वो ब्लास्ट पर भी वोट तलाशने का काम शुरू कर दें? क्या ब्लास्ट से या आतंकवाद की घटना से वोट का कोई रिश्ता है? कांग्रेस हर चीज में वोट तलाशती है. जिस तरह की कांग्रेस के लिए आतंकवाद कोई मुद्दा नहीं है, उसके लिए वोट बड़ा मुद्दा है.
The Congress instantly found itself on the back foot.
If he has made a tweet, that could be his personal thing. But as far as the Congress party is, we rise above political considerations as far as terrorism is concerned, and all political parties must stand together to fight against terrorism.
ये चिंता की बात है, दुख की बात है और पूरे देश के लिए एक चुनौती है. उसे राजनीतिक लाभ हानि की दृष्टि से नहीं देखना चाहिए.
Such kinds of insinuations are reckless and should not come from a responsible political party. But the other flip side of the argument is that he has already conceded defeat.
While Congress is playing down the remark, it cannot really rid itself of the insinuations, as there are three basic questions that arise. Number one, is Congress insinuating that BJP has staged the blast? Number two, is this remark strengthening the enemies of India? And number three, is Congress itself gaining from these blasts?
The BJP wasn't the only one agitated. The web world was awash with bitter reactions to Shakil Ahmed's remarks.
If the blast near the BJP's office in Bangalore is a terror attack, it will certainly help the BJP politically on the eve of the election. Obviously, that's a bombshell that a lot of people have reacted to very negatively. In fact, Shakil Ahmed's drawn so many reactions that he's actually trending in Mumbai and several other parts of the country. Remember, this is a person who's a former Minister of State for Home. get you some of the reactions. A person called Baki Shukla, a popular tweet on Shakil Ahmed has said, Shakil Ahmed said the Bangalore blast will help the BJP means he's justifying all communal riots in India as it has helped Congress to be in power most of the time. Of course, a lot of pro-BJP people have reacted extremely negatively to what this man has said. Shakil Ahmed is behaving like the Indian Mujahideen operative. Such cheap comments will only disintegrate, weaken people and motivate terrorists. Very emotive responses, because this is an example of a politician mixing what is happening on the streets with politics, politicizing what appears to be some kind of a terror attack.
Even as the row rages on, let's pause and contrast the irresponsible brinkmanship here in India to the bipartisanship demonstrated by the political parties in the United States. With Pratibha Raman, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Well, we are joined by the spokesperson of BJP, Mr. Prakash. So thank you so much for joining us today. In fact, many of the questions that are doing the rounds, and one of them is the fact that when Karnataka was given the alert, basically, just a couple of days before this blast has happened, has rattled the entire set of Bangaloreans. What do you have to say? Wasn't there enough security that was provided?
See, the blast cannot be predicted. The alerts will come, 10s, 20 alerts will be issued by the intelligence agencies. Police will follow it up. Sometimes such kind of act does take place. It's very unfortunate, and it has happened very close to my party office when we were all present in the office. I hope the coming days Election Commission will take note of the serious incident and provide enough security to the people and ensure a peaceful poll in the coming elections.
Considering that Karnataka is in election mode, do you think that this was a deliberate attempt to sabotage BJP's efforts? Were BJP leaders the target?
It may have been used to demoralize the cadres of the BJP, but I do not consider it that way. Let's not politicize the issue. It's an issue of terror concerning the lives of innocent people. The political parties should rise above all this, and we should fight the terror in one voice. If we start politicizing even the terror act, then there is no end to it.
That is an interesting point made. Let us not politicize this issue. In fact, the time has come when people have to really solve this whole issue and join together and fight terrorism.
Tomorrow at this time, if things hadn't gone Sanjay Dutt's way in Supreme Court, he would have been in jail for more than 3 years to pay off that sentence that was handed out to him by the Supreme Court. But he's been given a 4-week reprieve by the Supreme Court.
Exactly how did that happen, and what was the reaction in Mumbai, especially from his family and the film industry? Vidya will take you through that in the city.
Sanjay Dutt gets to breathe free for another 4 weeks. In an act of generosity on humanitarian grounds, Sanjay Dutt was given 4 more weeks by the Supreme Court of India. And what were these humanitarian grounds? Unfinished filming work worth 300 crores of rupees. Sanjay Dutt wept and said that he would not seek for leniency, but the actor in him had to kick in.
Sanjay Dutt, the 1993 blast convict, wept. Lent on his sister for support. But claimed that he would never seek pardon.
All I can tell you all is that I have not applied for any pardon. There are many other people who deserve pardon.
But then Sanjay Dutt, the movie actor, took over. 300 crores of movie contracts were about to be put behind bars.
And that's what Dutt's counsel argued in the court. Dutt was meant to surrender and go to jail on Thursday. Arguing for Dutt, Harish Salve claimed that his petition was based on mercy and humanity, and that it was different from petition of other convicts who had based their prayer on the basis of Article 21 of the Constitution and on medical grounds. Accepting the differentiation, the court granted Sanjay Dutt 4 weeks' time and not 6 months' time as he had demanded.
So, Dutt gets another month of freedom. Not so for her, 70-year-old cancer patient Zebunisa Kazi. Not so for him either. Sharif Parker, convicted but now in a wheelchair, claiming serious illness. Angry family members crying injustice.
When I heard the news, at first my reaction was of anger. That how come he get it, because he's a celebrity and all that. But later when I realized, I said forget what he's getting, what he's not getting. I'm asking that yesterday when I applied for extension, I didn't get it and I was very disappointed.
तो वही बोल रहे हैं कि अगर संजय दत्त को मिले उससे हम खुश है, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं खुश है। अच्छी बात है किसी को भी राहत मिल रहा, लेकिन जब एक 80 साल का और एक 90 साल के बुजुर्ग के लिए हम अपील कर रहे हैं मेडिकल ग्राउंड पे, तो हमारी दरख्वास्त रिजेक्ट हो जाती है। मतलब ये देश में ऐसा दो तरह के कानून माने जा रहे हैं, ऐसा हमको लग रहा है।
हमको लगता है सरकार ने केस ढीला किया है या सरकार ने रियायत बरती है संजय दत्त को, इस वजह से उनको 4 वीक की मोहलत मिल गई।
But the political voice a bit different.
संजय दत्त और जयबू निशा इन दो को अलग अलग तरीके से देखना चाहिए। संजय दत्त ने जो समय मांगा है उसका उद्देश्य कुछ है, जयबू निशा ने जो समय मांगा था उसका उद्देश्य कुछ था।
मेरा यही अनुरोध है कि संजय दत्त को अपनी जितनी भी फिल्में हैं, क्योंकि उसमें सैकड़ों हजारों करोड़ रुपए लगे हुए हैं, वो फिल्में पूरी होने तक उसको मौका देना चाहिए।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, उन्होंने मिस्टर दत्त ने हम प्रोड्यूसर्स के कहने पे ही अप्लाई किया था, तो इट्स ऑलरेडी के जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दिया है, इट हैज टेकन द प्रोड्यूसर्स रिक्वेस्ट इनटू कंसिडरेशन।
Sanjay Dutt got an extension, but the petitions of 5 others also claiming that their pleas were pending with the Maharashtra governor, as well as suffering from cancer, paralysis and grievous illnesses in the family, were all rejected. The convicts now planning to change their petition to the court on ground of mercy.
हमारे पास तो स्ट्रॉन्ग ग्राउंड्स है, हमारे पास मेडिकल ग्राउंड्स है। 88 इयर्स ओल्ड एक्यूज्ड है, एक एक्यूज के तो ऑलरेडी 14 साल जेल में काटे हैं उन्होंने, तो हमारा भी तो केस स्ट्रॉन्ग है, तो इसमें भी हम कल मेंशन करेंगे कोर्ट को।
They have been convicted for heinous acts of terror, but in terms of relief, Sanjay Dutt seems to have played his legal cards better. The court's verdict is final. The last hope for the convicts is now to file a fresh petition on the humanitarian grounds. With camera person Deepak Bisht and Bureau Inputs, Arthur Khan in Delhi for Headlines Today.
4 weeks of freedom for Sanjay Dutt to finish his filming work, but no such luxury for 70-year-old Zebunisa Kazi, a cancer survivor who has been appealing on medical ground but has got no relief so far. She will have to turn herself in tomorrow. Did she have to be a celebrity to get sympathy from the highest court of this land?
I just want to tell everybody from the media is that I've got a few days left. I want to finish. I have a lot of work. I have to finish all that work. I have to spend all this time with my family. So I, with folded hands, tell you all is that just let me be in peace till the time I go in.
At the age of 70, it's very, very difficult, I can only plead and beg that she should not be put behind bars, not only for emotional grounds, but also looking into the merits of the case.
Sanjay Dutt has a 4-week reprieve to finish his movies. But the same humanitarian grounds on which he got his break do not apply to a cancer patient.
So she said, "Beta, I'm already 70 years. You have finished your life fighting for me. You have not got justice. Well, I hope Allah gives me, mujhe maut aa jaye, main chale jaun. At least you will be free. You can lead your life the way you want. Because of me, even you're getting stuck in this case."
Dutt's emotional press conference televised nationally melted hearts. It galvanized support from luminaries of Tinseltown, former chief justices and powerful politicians. In comparison, Zebunisa's daughter could only appeal to Digvijay Singh when she appeared on a show on Headlines Today.
I just want to request him to take up my mother's case also, because of her age, of her ill health, and she's all I have, sir.
I have my full sympathies for Mrs. Zaini's case, and I'm definitely prepared to meet the family, and of course I will do whatever is possible.
In a searing indictment, victims of the 1993 blasts have questioned the different standards of the law.
Because he is a celebrity and the all money film industry has put on him, that's why they want favor from the court. They are favoring him.
I know what I have gone through this 4 days, and I can't fight this alone. I need support. I appeal to the citizens of India, please come and help me. Only when you are convinced that my mother is innocent, stand by me. Otherwise, don't.
देखो बापू, आज लाइफ में फर्स्ट टाइम अपन ऐसा फंसेला है. कुछ भी आइडिया निकाल कर आप उनको बचा लो अभी.
Compassion for Munna Bhai has got him an extension on his surrender deadline. But true Gandhigiri would have meant the law was equal for all. With Atir Khan in New Delhi, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.